Hey family. Welcome back to the space where we don't just talk, we transform. If you're here, it's not by accident. You've felt it. That inner pull. That whisper that says, you are different. You've been set apart. You're a chosen one. But let me ask you this. Have you been feeling blocked lately? Like no matter what you do, it's like you're walking through spiritual quicksand? Well, you're not alone. Today, we're going to expose the 7 mistakes that block a chosen one's power. The kind of mistakes that sneak into your life quietly. And before you know it, they're dimming your divine light. So if you're ready to clear the fog and step fully into your purpose, let's dive in. Let's take a moment and be honest with ourselves. Have you ever felt something tugging at your spirit? A soft, persistent whisper saying, there's more to you. You were made for something greater. But instead of following that nudge, you pushed it aside? Maybe it came as a sudden thought in the middle of the night. Maybe it was a moment of clarity while you were driving, walking, or even scrolling through your phone. Maybe it showed up when you were feeling most broken, most tired, most done. But instead of answering that call, you told yourself, I'll deal with it later. It's probably just my imagination. Or the classic one, I'm not ready. That is ignoring the call. And I don't say this to shame you. I say it because I've been there. And so many chosen ones fall into this same trap without realizing what's at stake. Here's the truth. When the universe calls you, when Spirit speaks, it's not for entertainment. It's a sacred assignment. You're being asked to awaken, to step into alignment, to remember who you really are before the world told you who to be. But here's where it gets real. The call is rarely convenient. It doesn't always come with a plan laid out step by step. It won't wait until your money is right, your relationships are stable, or you feel 100% confident. It shows up in the mess, not the masterpiece. Because that's where transformation happens, in the raw, unfiltered places of life. And yet, so many of us hesitate. Why? Because answering the call means change. It means letting go of comfort. It means stepping away from what's familiar, even if it's painful, because the soul craves evolution. But when we ignore the call, something starts to happen inside us. We begin to feel disconnected. We lose our sense of direction. We start searching for meaning in things that only distract us. And suddenly, anxiety creeps in. Confusion grows louder. That inner fire? It dims. And we wonder why we feel stuck. But it's not that life is punishing us. It's that our spirit is trying to get our attention. Let me put it like this. You can't outrun your calling. You can distract yourself. You can delay the decision. You can hide behind fear, logic, even religion. But the call will keep returning. It will echo in your dreams. It will whisper in your quiet moments. And if you keep ignoring it, it will eventually scream through a storm. Because God loves you too much to let you stay asleep forever. So what does answering the call look like? It doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It doesn't mean you need all the answers. It simply means saying yes. Yes to becoming. Yes to growth. Yes to the unknown. Yes to the path even if you can't see the whole road. You say yes, and trust that the steps will appear as you move. You say yes, and trust that the divine is walking with you every step of the way. Because let me tell you something. There's a version of you that already exists, powerful, wise, radiant. That version is trying to meet you. But you've got to pick up the call. You can't silence your soul forever. Eventually, the ache becomes too loud. Eventually, you get tired of living small. So today, I want to ask you, what call have you been ignoring? What truth have you been avoiding? What dream have you buried under someday? And more importantly, what would happen if you finally said yes? Because the moment you do, the moment you truly surrender and say, all right, God, I hear you. I'm ready. That's when everything shifts. The doors open. The right people appear. The clarity comes. And most importantly, your power activates. So don't ignore the call, chosen one. Your soul has been trying to wake you up, not to punish you, but to liberate you. Say yes, and watch the heavens respond. Let's have a heart-to-heart for a minute. One of the most painful, and most common, mistakes a chosen one can make is trying to fit in. And I get it. We all have that desire to be accepted, to be loved, to be seen without judgment, to walk into a room and feel like we belong. But here's the hard truth. You were never meant to fit in. And deep down, you've always known that. From the time you were a child, you probably noticed it. You thought differently. You felt more deeply. You asked questions that made adults uncomfortable. You saw through things that others couldn't even feel. Maybe they called you too sensitive. Maybe they said you were weird. Maybe they laughed when you opened up. So over time, you began to adapt. You started to dim your light just enough so others wouldn't feel uncomfortable. You shrunk your ideas. You edited your voice. You wore masks just to avoid being the odd one out. You tried to laugh at jokes that didn't sit right with you. You tried to pretend you didn't care when you were hurting inside. You tried to convince yourself that blending in was easier than being alone. But let me tell you something. Every time you betray your authenticity to gain acceptance, you give away a piece of your power. And that emptiness you've been feeling? That quiet sadness that lingers even when everything on the outside seems fine? That's your soul mourning the self you abandoned to be liked. Fitting in may feel safe in the moment. But over time, it becomes a prison. Because no matter how much you pretend, no matter how well you play the part, you will always feel the tension between who you are and who you're pretending to be. And the longer you do it, the more drained you become. That's why so many chosen ones go through what I call the spiritual fatigue. It's not just physical tiredness. It's the exhaustion of living out of alignment with your truth. But here's the good news, family. You don't have to do that anymore. You were chosen precisely because you don't fit in. You were made to be different. To disrupt old patterns. To awaken others by your example, not your imitation. You are not here to mirror the world. You are here to remake it. So let them call you strange. Let them say you've changed. Let them misunderstand you. You weren't sent here for their approval. You were sent here for a mission. And missions require messengers who don't follow the crowd, but walk with the cloud of divine guidance. When you stop trying to fit in, you begin to stand out. And that's when your real power begins to emerge. Your intuition sharpens. Your voice gains weight. Your presence begins to shift atmospheres. Because you are finally in sync with who you really are, not who the world tried to mold you into. Let me ask you something. What would your life look like if you stopped pretending? What would happen if you wore your truth boldly, even if it made others uncomfortable? What would shift if you finally gave yourself permission to be seen, fully, freely, and without apology? You see, the pain of being misunderstood is temporary. But the pain of betraying your own soul? That lingers. You don't need 1,000,000 followers to be powerful. You don't need a big crowd to validate your worth. You just need alignment with your truth. That's where the real anointing is. So if you've been feeling like the black sheep, the outsider, the misfit, good. That's confirmation. You are exactly who you're supposed to be. And the moment you stop trying to fit in, you start to fit into your destiny. Because the world doesn't need more copies. It needs you. The real you. The bold you. The raw, radiant, unapologetic, spiritually aligned you. So take off the mask. Come out of hiding. And walk in the freedom of knowing this. You were never meant to fit in. Because you were born to stand out. Listen closely, because this one is deep. The third mistake is doubting your power. You have no idea how divine you really are. And the enemy, whether you call it negative energy, low vibrational forces, or the system, banks on you not knowing. Doubt is the poison that kills destinies. And it shows up subtly. I'm not good enough. I'm not ready. Who am I to do this? Sound familiar? But let me remind you. You carry ancient wisdom in your DNA. You've survived battles in the spirit that most people couldn't even imagine. You've felt pain that should have broken you, but look, you're still here. That's not weakness. That's spiritual muscle. Doubt only has power when you believe it. So stop letting fears speak louder than faith. When you fully embrace who you are, the universe starts aligning miracles to your frequency. Let's talk about spiritual diet. What are you feeding your soul? Chosen ones are sensitive. We don't process energy the way others do. Music, movies, social media, they all carry frequency. If you're constantly watching violent, negative, fear-based content, if you're scrolling through gossip pages and drama feeds every day, that's affecting your vibration. You can't stay in alignment with your purpose while feeding your spirit garbage. And I know, it's entertainment. It's trendy. It's harmless. But energy doesn't care about entertainment. Guard your gates, your eyes, your ears, your mind. Start feeding your soul what it needs, not just what it craves. Truth, beauty, wisdom, stillness, nature. That's the real fuel for your power. Phew, this one is heavy. A lot of chosen ones are walking around with grown bodies but wounded inner children. Unseen, unheard, unloved. And here's the thing. That unhealed pain becomes a silent saboteur. You start self-sabotaging your blessings. You push away good people. You over-explain yourself. You fear rejection, so you reject yourself first. Listen to me. Your power doesn't just come from your gifts, it comes from your wholeness. And you can't be whole if you keep ignoring the little version of you that still needs a hug, still needs validation, still needs safety. Start reparenting yourself. Talk to that inner child. Love them. Hold space for them. Because when your inner child feels safe, you unlock a level of power that is pure, unstoppable, and divine. This is the most important one. The greatest mistake a chosen one can make is forgetting the source. You didn't get here on your own. Your power isn't self-made, it's spirit-given. When you stop praying, stop meditating, stop connecting with the divine, you cut off your own supply. And what happens to a branch disconnected from the tree? It withers. Your relationship with the Most High isn't optional, it's essential. That's where your clarity comes from. That's where your protection comes from. That's where your power is activated. So come back home. Even if you've drifted, even if you've doubted, even if you've been distracted, Spirit never left you. All you have to do is return. Look, you are more powerful than you know. But power doesn't come without responsibility. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is remove what no longer serves you. So take this video as a sign. Not just to learn these mistakes, but to correct them. You are the light. You are the shift. You are the generational curse breaker. You are the one they've been waiting for. So rise up, chosen one. The world needs you whole, not hidden. If this message spoke to your soul, drop a "I receive" in the comments and share this with another chosen one. And remember, you're not just watching this. You were called to this. Until next time, stay aligned, stay protected, and above all, stay powerful. Peace and divine love.